Hi, my name is Angel. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am doing the Choose Wisely tag. I was tagged by Cliff's Dark Gems here on YouTube. If you guys haven't heard of him, definitely go and check out his channel. He is a very avid horror reader and he is always giving very good recommendations and reviews of some spectacular horror books. So go check him out and let's go ahead and get into the tag. So the Choose Wisely tag is where you choose 3 books that destroyed you and 3 books that restored you. So destroyed you could be any sort of way, made you sad, made you horrified if they were just very messed up books. So I have my 3 books that destroyed me. We're gonna go ahead and talk about those first. So the first book I have that destroyed me is The Troop by Nick Cutter. You guys already know, if you know anything about horror books, if you were on Book Talk, Horror Talk, anything like that, there's a very good chance that you've heard of this book. If not, I'm not sure where you've been living. But The Troop tells the story of this group of Boy Scouts that is on this island for a camping trip, and a strange man appears, and he's got a very ravenous appetite, and he is sick. There's something wrong with him, and they are stuck there on this island with him. It is gory. It is messed up. There is so much body horror. So all of that helped to destroy me, but also the ending just made me so freaking sad. It is an ending that I will never forget, especially after the journey we went through during the book. Yes, absolutely destroyed me. Made me so sad, made me so horrified and so grossed out, and I love it. It's one of my favorites. The next book we have is literally traumatizing. That is Tampa by Alyssa Nutting. This book is about a female teacher who preys on her younger male students, and yeah, this book is not for the faint of heart. Like, you have to really be very prepared before going to this book because it is graphic. It does not hold back on the sexual descriptions and the things that this woman is doing with this underage child. It's difficult to read. Like I said, it's literally traumatizing, but it's so hard because it's absolutely like written so good. I did give this book 5 stars because despite the content of it and how horrific it is and how it's just hard to read, it was written so well, and I could not stop thinking about it after I finished it, and that is why I gave it 5 stars. And I know it's a hard book to rate. It's hard to rate books that are dealing with such horrific content. So that book literally traumatized me. It definitely destroyed me. Don't read that book unless you're prepared for that subject matter. And then the last book that I chose to put in this category destroyed me, not because of the graphic horror or anything like that. It destroyed me because it made me so sad. And I think in my Goodreads review of this book, I literally said, do not read this book unless you want to feel like your heart is being ripped out of your body. And that is A Monster Calls. This book is about a little boy who gets a visit from a monster, and he tells him, I'm going to tell you 3 stories. When I'm done, you will tell me a 4th. And we go through this journey with this boy who is having a very tough time. He gets bullied at school. He has some personal problems going on at home. It's just, once it all comes together, it is so well done, but it's so sad. And when you figure out like what the story is that he's going to tell the monster at the end, it's very sad. It's very heartbreaking, and it destroyed me for that reason, but I still think it's a fantastic book. Okay, getting into the books that have restored me. I wanted to stick with the horror theme, so these are all horror books, but they are books that just The reading experience made me really, really have a very, very fun time, and these are 3 books that I feel like you could read and really truly just fall back in love with reading, or at least that's how it went for me. So the first book is Mr. Magic by Kiersten White. This one I just recently read. I got an arc of it and I was so freaking grateful. Fantastic book. So Mr. Magic is about this group of kids that was on this children's show when they were younger. However, there is no proof or evidence that the show ever existed except for the collective memories of the children that were on it and the children that watched it around the world on TV. I really, really enjoyed this book because it brought in, it's not fully mixed media, but it brought in some interesting aspects because we have like all these kind of discussion like forum posts from people around the world who remember watching the show, but there's no way to like prove that it existed. We also get like a little bit of a podcast weird type of element. It was just a very, very fun read. It was so creepy and so spooky and just everything that I love when it comes to creepy things. It also had some social commentary, a message that the author was getting across, and it just was a very, very fun reading experience, honestly. And that is, I feel like, what really restores a reader is when the reading experience is just so much fun. Next is another very recent one. Like, I just finished this book a couple of days ago. That is Boys in the Valley. This is a demon possession horror about this boy, Peter, who is living at an orphanage. And one night, this group of men shows up. They have a man with them that's injured, and he's got like symbols carved into his body, and he's just going crazy. So then this kind of evil presence is now in the orphanage and affecting the children there, and it was so creepy. Like, this book actually scared me, which doesn't happen often. It was packed with action from very, very beginning to the very, very end. There was something crazy happening that was intense. It was a lot, and it was horrifying. Like, the descriptions and the actual horror of the book was fantastic. Like, the gore and the fighting and all of that. I feel like it's a book that every horror reader should read because it was just that good, and it really kind of brings you back to what the horror genre is, I feel like, in my opinion. And yeah, that really did help to restore me because I loved it. And the last book that I have in this category is Ghost Eaters by Clay McLeod Chapman. This is a horror book that, once again, I was reading it and I was absolutely like addicted to reading it, where every spare second I had, I wanted to be reading this book until I got to the end because I was just fascinated with the story, the writing, the characters. So Ghost Eaters primarily follows a woman whose ex-boyfriend has just recently died, and a friend comes to her and says, hey, I have this new drug that will allow you to see ghosts. And she takes it to see her ex-boyfriend again, and then very, very quickly gets addicted to this feeling and being able to see this person. And it was very, very hard because it dealt with addiction and it dealt with grief, and there's also, you know, the paranormal ghost aspect of it. But you're just like watching all these characters fall deeper and deeper into their addiction and making all these horrible, horrible choices, but there's nothing you can do except to watch it all happen. Like, you just want to yell at them to stop, but you can't. So in that way, it really helped to restore me because I was just so invested in the story and I just wanted to be reading it, and I had such a fun time reading it, and I would highly recommend it. So those are 3 books that destroyed me and 3 books that helped to restore me and rekindle my love for reading, especially when it comes to horror. So if you guys have read any of these, let me know down below. Let me know what your thoughts were on any of these books. And with all of that being said, thank you so much for watching. Oh, actually, I forgot to tag people, duh. Once again, thank you so much to Cliff's Dark Gems for tagging me. His channel will be linked down below if you guys would like to check him out. And the 3 people that I'm going to be tagging to do this, if you guys haven't already done that, is Michaela Reeds, As Told by Maddie, and Allie Read a Book. So all three of them will be linked down below. They are all very great, smaller booktubers, so we need to share the love through the community. And now, with all of that being said, thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I will see you next time.